Pause up, everyone. Welcome to Meowy Hour. I'm your host, Arden Moore. As you know, this show is brought to you each and every Wednesday live by the Cat Fancier Association. And we want to do a big shout out to our sponsors. First up, we have Kitty Raid, which also makes for you doggy people, Doggy Raid. Oh, wait. And Yummy Raid, and it's an isotonic series of drinks all about keeping our pets healthy and well hydrated. So we thank you very much. Second, we've got the cool people at Meowy Wanna. I said it right, Meowy Wanna. And it is organic catnip and a bunch of different toys and treats. And are you old enough, young man? Yes, I am. With me are my feline co-hosts, of course, Tails Up, Rusty the Performer, and sitting by my side like a feline Ryan Reynolds, according to one of our guests, is a pet safety cat, Casey. I cannot do this show without all breed CFA judge and a cool chick. We're talking about Kathy Black and our doggy designee, Destiny. Today, you guys are in for a double treat because we have a powerhouse team on our show. They are shaking up the pet media world in a meovelous way. Please give a big welcome to the founders of All Pet Voices. We're talking Claude DiVita and Jessica Shipman. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yes. And we got our ears on.
I noticed that.
We're ready. We're ready to roll.
I do not have a pair of cat ears.
Oh, we're gonna have to remedy that.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no,
I have like options.
Yeah. I mean, you've got many options. Cool. I mean, 2 weeks ago we had kitty rescue, Bitty Kitty Brigade from Greece. They were in pajamas because it was 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning their time.
Right.
So my cats were in pajamas.
That's perfect.
I mean, is it wrong to be in pajamas at 4?
Well,
right. Should we go change?
I had all my pajamas, and Arden didn't wear pajamas. I'm like, wait a minute. We said that we were going to wear pajamas.
I have t-shirts and sweats, but my cats were in pajamas. So it was the
there we go.
pajamas.
Yeah.
There
you go.
All right, we digress. So we have a lot to cover on today's show. We're going to talk about how through All Pet Voices, there's going to be some cool things to make this a better planet for cats and dogs, thanks to these geniuses and some of their partnerships. There's going to be some prizes we're going to give away. We're going to talk about the Bengal. I always want to sing that song by the Bengals, but I won't. But a brilliant, beautiful cat breed. And we're going to also talk about a little bit about cat first aid, and it's going to be Meowy wine time at the end. Yes, I'm not an artist, but this is a wine glass that I have cat faces on. So we're going to have a toast at the end, but I want to get started with some headlines that are happening. This is a small planet, and hello, Rusty. Rusty said, don't forget about talking about this guy in Japan. And it turns out, guys, that there was a gentleman in Japan. His name is Nakoki Teriyaki. I want to say teriyaki, but it isn't that. And he has a restaurant in Osaka. And I want you to check out this photo, ladies. When you see this photo, what are you thinking? Chloe, what's this image?
That's a big cat.
It looks like maybe it's Attack of the 50-Foot Felines or Catzilla.
Catzilla.
Yeah.
All right, let's see another one. Show another one.
Yeah, I thought of Catzilla. Yeah.
Okay, so that's one image because I want you to lock this in, everybody. And we have people from all over the world who tune into our show. Thank you, guys. So the other one Kathy's going to pull up just to give you kind of a size perspective. Here we go. Rusty's helping too. Rusty, don't touch that dial. Look at that one.
Pulling the roof off the house.
Yeah.
So here's what happened. This gentleman had a restaurant in Japan, but he also likes miniature trains, and he had these train tracks and all that were part of inside the theme of the restaurant. Well, COVID hit and he was really struggling to stay open, but he looked out his window on a rainy day and there was a scared little wet kitten. And he brought the kitten in. And he's like, where can I keep the kitten? So he kept the kitten in with all the train stuff. And he did look out of perspective, like he's clearly doing here. His name is Simba. A day later, Simba's mama came with 3 more kittens. He brought them all in. Even though he was pinched for money and all, he helped these cats survive, and he became a Catmandu. And I'm happy to say that his restaurant now is, he started, well, you guys can relate to this. He started posting photos like that on Instagram, getting a lot of interest and followers. And he now has turned his restaurant into a cat sanctuary where patrons can interact with these kitties and even eat with them. And he's now expanded to a 2nd floor cat shelter and a kitty hotel. And he has already found homes for 60 strays.
Wow.
So I wanted to get your take on this. Sometimes we meet people or sentient beings in our lives that weren't scripted. And COVID, sucks. I'm going to just say that. And here was a little kitten named Simba that made him pivot and change his life. I'm going to start with you, Jessica. What's your take on that tale?
Well, my take is that I would like to book a flight to Japan to go and see this firsthand because it sounds fantastic. But I think that is something that, everyone who has pets in their lives, we've encountered one, if not multiple pets who have changed our lives. Exactly. Yeah. If you caught the beginning, they were having a cute little conversation.
Yeah, Casey,
Yes.
Casey and I talk a lot. Yeah. So, and what's your thoughts, Chloe?
I just love how somebody like that, followed their heart, right? And said, okay, I've got something to do here. And what started as one kitten coming in turned into probably a life change. And now such an effect that he's having on not only the kittens, but people, the introductions being made from people who would never have, known cats maybe, or thought of doing something like that. So it becomes inspirational. And I love that.
What about you, Miss Kathy and Destiny, our doggy?
I guess I've been hanging around you too long, Arden. So the black cloud in his life turned into a clouder in which he serves chowder.
Well done. Well done.
I bet there's going to be a lot of cats now coming out of that place with train-like names. I just hope, Casey, what do you think about Caboose? No, that's not a nice name. How about Choo Choo? No. Casey goes, come up with better ones, Arden. Really, cat my tongue. But yes, very good, Kathy. You got the best. That was good.
The brains are working today.
Or maybe the other way. Maybe they'll start naming trains after cats.
Hey, there you go.
Now, there you go. And are you guys catching on? These two that are our special guests are just amazing in social media. They're gutsy broads because they're successful entrepreneurs. And they started a company. We're going to get into some of their past, but right before COVID hit, like a
literally.
Yeah.
They said, let's do a pet-focused media company and have podcasts and other things, coffee chats, and let's call it All Pet Voices. And then kaboom, March 2020. But these guys, like good cats, landed on their feet. And we're going to find out a little bit more about how they did that. But right now, I think, Kathy, you have a little CFA minute, and we have people dying to know who won the prizes from last week's trivia.
Okay. All right. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this. So if you take the CFA newsletter, then if you read the section that Desiree Bobby put out there about marketing, CFA, you may have seen these on Facebook. CFA has made templates, And she shared the Dropbox. And so when you go to the Dropbox and you look at all the breeds, it looks like this. So you can see all the different breeds. And underneath each one of these, it has different images that you can choose that has a different saying that talks about preservation breeding and purposeful breeding. I started those terms a couple of years ago, stole them from the dog world. My computer is not going to work. There we go. And so you'll see there's lots of different certainty of traits, health and genetics, home for life, improve the breed. So there's these different templates that you can use. And what you can do is then go out and download one of those. And when you do that, you can insert your own cat's picture, and then you could share that on your social media site. So I made this one up of one of my Chartreuse that I bred many years ago. This is Libby when she was a kitten. And so I just grabbed that template, took Libby's picture, inserted it into this, saved it as an image, and now you can share this on your Facebook, your Instagram, your websites, whatever you want to do. And we'd also have it for the companion cat world too. So you can do this with your companion cat, with any pedigreed cat. Those templates are out there, so everybody check that out. That's really cool, and it's a great way to get our message out.
Well, Casey was just talking to me, and he said, really, why are Rusty and I not in this? So I think I have some homework. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And
All
then
right.
last week, the trivia question was, what % of cats have dental disease before the age of, was it 3 or 4? 3. And it was 70%, which is a big number.
Yep.
So we had 2 winners. We had one winner that gets our sample of the kitty raid. And that
I'm trying to be Vanna White.
Yeah,
That's the better
winner
picture.
was Karen Heastra.
Way to go, Karen.
Heastra, congratulations. You probably already have them by now, your samples of the kitty raid. And then our Meowy Wana, I have a hard time saying that. They're
Don't
giving
be doing that
away.
before you say it. Meowy Wana.
Yeah, I can say Doggy Wana easier. They're giving away a 3-pack of their chews, plus a package of the Silver Vine sticks. And that went to Cheryl Boyer. So congratulations, Cheryl. You should have those pretty soon. I mailed them on Monday. So they should be on their way. And by the way, it's a $20 value.
Wow.
So at least, because the Silver Vines are in there too.
Yeah.
So it's a huge packet of lots of stuff. So,
well, thank you. So we appreciate that from our sponsors, Dr. Ava, Kitty Ray, Geraldine from Meowy Wana. Thank you, guys. All right. Tonight's trivia question has an Olympic theme. Don't worry, it won't go dun, dun. Well, I already started. Dun, 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 dun. All right. You two may know the answer, so keep your kitty lips quiet. Okay, because we reveal the answer later. And we're happy to report that Jessica and Chloe are going to put this question out on their Facebook. You have until Sunday to come up with an answer. You'll be emailing Kathy Black. They'll provide her email for you. And you all have a chance to get your paws on these same prizes from next week. So the question is, there's a lot of US athletes in the Olympic Games right now who have cats and dogs at home. And they make them better athletes and better humans. So I'm going to give you a list of 4 Olympic athletes. And I want you to name the one that has a cat named Muffin. Okay, I'm giving you a lot of tips, Dr. Google people out there. The Olympian has got a cat named Muffin, who apparently is pretty much of a media star. Okay, so you guys, I can see now you guys are checking it out, aren't you? You're like, I want to
You're like, we want to know about Muffin.
Okay, so here you go. Is it A, figure skater Mariah Bell? Is it B, snowboarder? This one pronounces it different. So
I know.
Chloe Kim. Is it C, alpine skier Michaela Schifrin, or is it D, snowboarder Shaun White? So your choices are A, Mariah Bell, B, Chloe Kim, C, Michaela Schifrin, or D, Shaun White. Get your answers in now. And also, Kathy, tell them how they can do they have a few extra days so we can open it up to more.
Yes, so send me your responses to my email. It's my name, kathy.black@yahoo.com. You can also type your responses in the chat box on Facebook, but be sure that you email me, Kathy with a K, kathy.black@yahoo.com.
And Kathy,
right.
how do you pick the winner?
It's random.
Random?
Yeah, I actually did the random number generator on the computer. I give everybody a number and I plug in one to whatever and
Yep. And it tells you.
generate.
We like that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we
Wow. That's pretty
veterans using
scientific.
that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey guys, we're so happy on our show today. We have Chloe DiVita and Jessica Shipman. You got to check out All Pet Voices. We're putting the links on allpetvoices.com. They had a major news they're going to share with cuddly.com. But first of all, thank you both for coming on to the show and wearing cat ears.
Yeah. I mean, we wouldn't have it any other way. So.
I know.
So let's start with you, Jessica. Explain what the heck is All Pet Voices, because it is not stagnant. It is evolving. I think that's a big E for you all.
Yeah. And I mean, you kind of hit on it earlier when we launched in February 2020. Really did the most of it in March of 2020, which everything was shutting down. We had so many different visions in mind. We wanted to do an in-person event, you guys, an in-person event in March 2020. And we were like,
wait a minute. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm ready.
we were like, that's not gonna work. We gotta figure this out. And so we just started creating content. Chloe and I have been in the pet industry for years and we had a lot of great connections. So we started doing interviews on, just Facebook Live, just like this. We took that and then started creating some written content. It was a little bit more sporadic than probably we would like initially, but in the last, what would you say, like 4 to 6 months, we've really honed in on creating written content, as well as we're going to be restarting some of our video content coming shortly. We're really excited about that. But we are really focusing in on written content that's accessible to everyone. It has information that's reliable, reputable, and coming from experts, whether they're veterinarians, trainers, people who have been in the pet industry for years, and firsthand experience. And we don't want to necessarily drown it out with super technical words that not everybody can understand. And so that's something that's really important to us too, is that it's approachable and understandable by every cat lover, every pet parent. So that's where we've been focusing. We've been cranking out a lot of new content, and that will kind of segue to one of the other things we're going to get talking to about Pet Health 5, but we have been focusing a lot of our time and effort on ways to make pet parenthood, having cats in your home, making it easier to keep everyone happy and healthier with just a few little routine, regular checks every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very well said, Jessica. And shifting over to Chloe, it is called Pet Health 5, and people live busy lives. And if you all go to allpetvoices.com, you're going to see the whole section. You might recognize some of the names that are there who have authored some of the blogs that have been on our show, including Emily Hall of Kitty Cat Go. And you've had some topics, but it's kind of like in and out. And because I think that people can't sit there for 2 hours unless it's a really cool Netflix show.
I know.
Right. We're working on getting that to that level.
Okay. All right. So you take over. So what the heck is what is Pet Health 5, and why should we tune in, check it out?
Yeah, Pet Health 5 is the whole goal of Pet Health 5 is sort of to empower the pet parent in their home. And Arden, it kind of is similar to everything you do with your pet first aid. It kind of builds onto that in a sense.
Hey, the more the merrier, seriously.
And
there are millions of people out there with cats and dogs. If we can be united and there's more of us talking about this, You know
Mhm.
what? Casey goes, oh yes, I would love it. I would love it.
Yes. Well, Pet Health 5 is 5 health stats that you check on your pet monthly. That's what we encourage, is you have a monthly, and we do it on the 5th of the month. So we call it Pet Health 5 because on the
Oh,
5th
that's
of
cool.
the month, we ask you to take at least 5 minutes out of your day and check these 5 stats. Now, we also recognize that Emily Hall's a great example. She has 7 cats and a dog. For
And
her,
2
it's like
sugar
Pet
gliders.
Health 60.
Right.
Well, some of our folks tuning in, you know, they're responsible breeders and they got cattery.
Yeah.
You can multiply that too, right,
Mhm.
Kathy?
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe you
it-
start on the 5th of the month and you take a few every day. I mean,
Yeah. And
yeah.
the,
So one of the things that you had on there, because it's Pet Health Dental Month, is
Yeah.
let's see if I can do it. Check the mouth.
uh-huh.
And Casey wants you to know, if I can do this. Hello, I have bubblegum pink gums. That's a
Good.
good thing, right,
It's a
ladies?
good thing. Yeah.
And
Yep.
his breath does not smell like the doggy breath.
That's good. Yep. That is one of the things, teeth and gums. The 5 things are, you're going to check temperature. You're going to check their heart rate. You're going to check you're going to do a body scan. So you're kind of feeling for things, noticing things. You're going to look at their
Well,
teeth and
against the
gums.
grain, right? Against the
Mhm.
grain too.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
going to look at their teeth and gums, and you're going to look, you're going to weigh them. So with cats, you're
Oh,
lucky. It's a lot
Casey
easier to
goes,
weigh
"Wait a
them because you
minute."
can just pick them up.
You're gonna weigh him? Oh my
Mhm.
god! Why do
Yeah,
you
we got to
think
make sure they
that's
aren't getting too many of those meow-wanna treats.
Yeah. Yeah, and it kind of goes both ways, right? Like, especially with weight and cats and fluffiness, depending on their fluffy factor, they can either be gaining weight or losing weight, you know,
Yeah.
and they're small. So a little bit of weight is a big difference.
Yes, yes. You don't want them to turn into hairy ottomans. I like it because your blogs are very proactive and not preachy. And I think
Yes.
that's also a clue. So we want to shout out some of the people that are helping you. I know I mentioned Emily.
Mhm.
She's a great one. Is there a couple
Yeah.
other writers that you want to do a hey out
Yeah.
there?
We have Amy Shojai. She's
She's been on
doing-
our show, yeah.
Yeah, she's doing some content for us. Jen Reeder's doing some content for us. Maggie Martin is doing content for us. Trying
Yeah,
to think who else you might know better.
Britt, Britt Casjack?
Jack.
Sorry, Britt. I don't know how to
Yeah.
pronounce your last name.
Brett Cat got my tongue. What?
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, and we have Hannah Zuleta also recently
Mhm.
did a
Jen
post for us.
Costello.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, we
love
have a
it.
bunch of people.
So, folks, you're tuning in. These are Chloe and Jessica from All Pet Voices. So they also do interviews with folks,
Mhm.
and they also have this in the Pet Health 5. And this is National Pet Dental Health Month. And you've got something to share with our folks that maybe they can also win some prizes through your you've got a contest, win one, give one, or what's the saying?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's yeah.
Dude, she scores. Okay. All right. So tell us a little bit about that. Who wants to jump in on that?
Like logo.
Win one, give one is, so we have a prize bundle. There's a cat specific one. It's called Sparkling Smiles Cat Giveaway. And it's got,
Sparkling smiles.
yes, it's got OxyFresh, their dental kit in it. So the additive and the, you know, which can be easier for cats, but some healthcare for them. We have greenies in it for cats. We have Pet Safe is giving a fountain and one of their fancy toys, right? So activity goes towards health. So there's just a prize package, and you can enter on our site. If you go to allpetvoices.com, it's one of the most recent blog posts. I think Kathy also shared a link. And
Thank
so
you,
yes, so thank you for that. And you can enter there. There's a whole submission form that lets you enter. But one of the great things that we love about it is, and what the brands working with us on it love, is that win one, give one. So you win a prize package, and then you can go to cuddly.com. There's a link right there to show you, and you can pick a cat rescue to win the same prize package. So basically you get one, it's worth over $120, and then they get one, it's worth over $120. And so it's a nice way to get back to a rescue and give them some goodies that they can use in the pets in their care from you, right? So technically you're winning like over $240 worth of stuff. You just are donating part of that.
Which makes you feel good. And that segues nicely. on my radio show, Oh Behave, he was a guest on my show. We're talking about the founder of some group you guys all got to check out. It's called cuddly.com. And John Hussey is the brains behind it. And it's a fundraising wish list platform for shelters. And even though you guys started a month before COVID hit, I think your business timing is getting better, because a few months ago, you all just signed a deal with Cuddly.
Mhm.
So Jessica, what's that all about, and why should people here on Meowy Hour pay attention?
Yeah, so yes, in November of last year, we were officially brought in as part of the Cuddly team. So now we are All Pet Voices powered by Cuddly.
Oh, I love
which-
that. That sounds. This is
Yeah.
This is Meowy Hour purred by the Cat Fancier Association.
I like
Maybe
it.
we should edit to sound
Yeah.
like that then. But yes, and we had worked with Cuddly in a few different ways beforehand, and we really felt that it was just we lined up in so many different ways about, our drive to give back, our drive to just constantly help animals, whether that's cats and dogs. They even help some more exotic animals too. And
Well, I understand you have this big love for llamas.
I do, yes. So any llama owners out there, please let me know. I would love to come visit.
Is that different than an alpaca?
Yes, llamas are more they're bigger and they're more like a guard animal,
Okay.
whereas
Is
an
it
alpaca is
spitted?
more the like soft sweater material.
Which one spits at you?
More llamas.
The llama spit.
Yeah, they can be sassy, so that's why I like them.
Okay, we got that here on the Meowy Hour. Okay, so tell us a little bit about Cuddly. I'm going to shift it over to Chloe now.
Mhm.
Tell us, because I'm looking at some stats, and they're helping almost 3,000 nonprofits now, and they're not that old either. So
No.
they seem to have found a niche of need, right?
Mhm. For sure. And, if you think about the smaller to medium rescues, right, the ones who are boots on the ground, they're rescuing the pets that are in the most need. The ones, unfortunately, like the kitten, kittens covered in fleas, left in a box in a field, animals that have been hit by cars, or God forbid, and we hate this, but it happens, where humans actually inflict injury and pain onto animals. And there are amazing and fantastic rescues. If you are one of them watching here, huge kudos to you, huge shout out. The amount of heart and the amount of just tenacity you have to stay in that and do it is a lot. There's a reason there's burnout in that field, and it takes a lot in your heart. So Cuddly is there to support them in the things that they don't necessarily want to spend their time doing, right? They want to be out rescuing the pets, finding the pets' homes, taking care of the pets, making sure, every injured cat gets the vet care it needs. They don't want to be figuring out, how do I bring in more money? How do I create this fundraiser? How do I post it on Facebook? How do I email my people? All of that stuff is a lot of work. And Cuddly came in to provide the business tool side. So if you're a rescue, if you're watching right now, if you are a 501c3, so in the US and you're a rescue here and you're not on Cuddly, you really should check them out. Email us, we can get you connected with somebody, hello@allpetvoices, because
hello@allpetvoices.com.
Yes,
That's
yes.
a good email. Okay.
Yeah, easy to remember, hopefully. But let us know so we
info. Thank you for doing that.
Yes, because what Cuddly does is it's a free platform. You don't pay anything to use it. All of the dollars that come from your fundraisers you put there go to you. There's like the small transaction fee, right, to run the cards is the only thing that doesn't go to the rescue. The rest of it goes to the rescue. You're allowed to, I shouldn't say allowed to, you're encouraged to create a wish list of items to go with it. So you have an injured cat who needs food, who needs bandages, who needs medication, who might need flea and tick, who needs all these different things. And so you can create a wish list right with that fundraiser so that somebody can go in and say, I'm going to give money, or, I'm going to make sure they're fed for the next month, or, you're giving the donor the options to support that pet and that rescue in any way that they choose. And Cuddly actually has fundraising consultants who come in and help you write your fundraiser, help you share it on Facebook. If you're really connected, which there's a lot of rescues out there who are very connected with their fundraising consultants. And sometimes the fundraising consultant will see that they shared on their Facebook page, they just rescued a pet, and they'll start creating the fundraiser before the rescue even tells them, because they're just following. And that's all free. The whole Cuddly's mission and purpose
Yeah,
is
that's
to provide
fantastic.
services that help the rescues.
Well, we got to have John on the show. So that's our request, right, Kathy?
Yeah.
Because he was on my
Well, it
radio
seemed
show.
like the shelters all got emptied out when COVID first hit, and now
Yeah.
they're all full again.
Mhm.
So they definitely need our attention, and they need our help because they're being overwhelmed. There was a lady who shared a local shelter put down 75 dogs because they were overcrowded and there's not any room.
Yeah.
And so it's
The other issue is small to medium shelters and cat rescue groups. They're not able to get certain kinds of canned cat food that's affordable for them because the places like grocery stores and PetSmart, Petco, they don't have any on their shelves. So they're having to go from 50 cents a can to $2 a can to feed these community cat colonies and little groups. And, I'm sure something like a Cuddly could help them in that kind of a pinch, because that's more than double
Yeah.
the cost to feed one cat.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So this is why we have you guys on. And there's so much about Jessica and Chloe that we want to share, but we learned a little bit that she's a llama lady, Jessica. And Jessica, where are you talking from right now? What state?
Colorado, north of Denver.
Okay. And where are you, Chloe?
I am also in Colorado, north of Denver. We're just like,
Okay.
I don't know, 20 minutes apart.
Oh, you are. So how did you two even meet? I know you both got really nice husbands, I heard, who cater to your every need, even 2 days after Valentine's Day. That's awesome.
Yes.
But how did you two meet?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Do you want to tell our
You
story?
go ahead and tell.
Okay.
Is it okay? Is it not?
Yeah, no, it's a
No,
great
it's
story.
Prison or anything? Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think either of us ended up in prison.
No.
Okay.
So where do we start? So
I know.
in about February, March of 2013, I started a dog blog called Beagles and Bargains. And in that process,
Beagles and bargains. Oh!
Yeah.
and I also found this organization called Blog Pause. And I was
That
like,
was a
hey,
big organization.
Yeah. This is kind of interesting. I'll check this out. Just so happened that the Blog Pause conference that year was in Tysons, Virginia, which is where I was living nearby at the time. It was about 30 minutes away. So last minute, took time off of my full-time job, went to this conference. And that is the first time that I met Chloe. She was running around doing all sorts of things, didn't really have much of a conversation probably with her then. But throughout that time, years passed, I became more and more involved with Blog Pause. I spoke at some of the conferences. I went to every single one after. And then in summer of 2017, my husband and I decided to move to Colorado, and we picked a town that happened to be the town that Chloe lived in. And I knew she lived in Colorado,
I'm sorry.
but
What?
I didn't know that she lived in, yeah, I was stalking Chloe. And that allowed us to obviously get to know each other a little bit better, spend more time with each other. And then, the rest of the story. In February 2020, Chloe was like, hey, you want to start a business with me? And we're like, sure, nothing could possibly stop us.
Nothing is.
Except
Not
maybe a
hey,
pandemic.
Not
Yes.
even no, but seriously, not even a pandemic. And 10 years from now, you two, and we're marking it here today, you're going to look back and show you're going to be so successful. And maybe it was a good thing you got slapped with the challenge right away.
Yeah.
You think? I mean,
Yeah.
seriously.
Made
And
us be creative and scrappy. So
Yeah.
yeah, and
Sometimes
as
that's
far
good.
as Chloe, your mom Yvonne and your dad Tom, I mean, people knew Blog Pause. You want to give a little background on that? Because I remember you were young, and I'd be there at an event. I think I was with a dog, or I don't know. I've done some things there. It was great. They got bought out by who? Who bought them?
Well, Blog Pause was initially acquired by Pet360 Media.
Okay.
And then Pet360 Media was acquired by PetSmart.
Okay.
And so Blog Pause went along with that acquisition. And yeah, and I was, part of the company through all of that and helped with those acquisitions. So those were interesting, fun times. I mean, like Jessica said, we were doing conferences every year. It's how I met so many people, including you, Arden. I remember you at, was it Vegas or?
Yeah, it was in Vegas.
Vegas?
Well,
you know, and just different
I think I
conferences.
did a dog party with a purpose.
Yeah, you had something going on in the exhibit hall. I remember that. But yeah, and they're you know, they retired before I did out of Blog Pause. But you know, they're fun. Tom, my mom.
Your mom and dad, like you got the pet genes. So can you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, well, my mom, so she's the one who, she started a blog called Scratchings and Sniffings back in like, I want to say like 2002, 20 years ago.
Wow.
Like at the very beginning of it all. And she got Purina to sponsor it very early on. And that's kind of what put her into the pet space. And
yeah,
then her and Tom, who I do constantly say is my dad, but he's not actually my father, just to give my own father a not feeling.
I don't know all that.
But he is like my dad. He's an amazing guy. Yes, very, very, very good guy. I always know I can count on him for anything. Both of them. They were in Colorado for a while. They moved back to New York just a couple of years ago, but they ran that blog together and met Caroline, who was, remember Romeo the cat? So she had a blog too. And the three of them are the ones who originally came up with the idea for Blog Pause. And they came to me because at the time I was running an accounting company. I'm technically an accountant, sort of.
Wow,
It's a great skill to have in a business partner.
Yeah, here's some.
I do like a spreadsheet. But they came to me and they were like, we're going to start this company. And I was like, okay, they're serial entrepreneurs. So honestly, when they first were talking to me about it, I mean, I was encouraging, but I was also like, well, we'll see where this goes. And then before I know it, they show up with a check and they're like, so we have this check, but we don't actually have a business yet. They had a name, they had the site I figured out, but they didn't like do the business stuff. They didn't register the business and start the bank account and everything. So I had to go and settle that up for them. And that was December of 2009. And it just took off from there.
That's awesome. What do you think of their backgrounds, Kathy? I mean, from llamas and spreadsheets to now all pet voices. We just wrapped it.
Hey, we all love animals, and
Yes.
when you can put that passion into action, that's when you're successful. You know, doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I also think it's good that you are vetting out good sources to give good information because it can be daunting. Somebody who's a first time adopting a cat or getting, you know, like some people have had a cat, all cats, and they've always wanted, I don't know, a Bombay or a Sphinx. And they've got groups like Cat Fancier Association to get responsible breeders. But there's also breed rescues and my gang that come from shelters in the street. They just knock on my door. Hey, Arden, got room for one more? Like, okay. So, I mean, where do you see you all heading this year and next year without giving away any trade secrets? But I want people to put you on their radar. So let's start with Chloe this time because we always switch back and forth. Chloe, what do you see all Pet Voices being able to do for cats, dogs, and all of us lucky to have them?
Yeah, well, you kind of hit the nail on the head when you talked about creating content from reliable sources, so experts and people who know what they're talking about and whose interest is in helping pet parents raise healthy pets, right? Cats and dogs, which is different than a lot of other interests some of the sites out there can have. We try really hard, like Jessica mentioned earlier, to bring it to everyone in a level that feels digestible. It's one of the reasons we created Pet Health 5 and made the 5 things be like facts, right? Your pet has a heart rate. It's not debatable. There's a heart rate, there's a right heart rate, there's an average heart rate, there's, you know, the same thing with the temperature and a weight and all these things that are factual, and trying to help people understand, like, here's some basic things that you can do at home that aren't about avoiding your vet, but are about empowering yourself to know your pet so you can have better conversations with your veterinarian. And I think that's a big focus for us overall, is just helping in that way.
Okay. And I do know your motto is we're bringing voices together to educate, celebrate, and inspire pet lovers around the world. Yes. So follow up on that, Jessica. Are we going to maybe see a conference in person one day, 23, 24?
You know, an in-person event is still very low down on a to-do list. I think there's still so many things that are up in the air. We have been in talks with other events, other organizations for helping out with ones that they're planning. So there may be a possibility there. But not, unfortunately, not in the, the near future. Still potentially out there, and you can always find us on the internet.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Internet is not a bad thing anymore. We're doing the show right now on Zoom, which we all wish we bought stock in October of 2019. Yeah. But the point is, you guys are in Colorado. She's in Oklahoma. I'm in Texas. Mm-hmm. We have people tuning in right now from all over the globe. I'm teaching classes in first aid and behavior and people from Egypt and South Africa. Yeah. So I don't want to poo-poo this event, this platform, because I think it's only going to get better. Mm-hmm. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it brings together people in a different way. So it's different. And I think what we were originally planning has there's some specific needs for it, I think, to be in person, not that there can't be a hybrid. And I think that's where we're headed, right? We've learned that we can do things virtually and figure out how to make them impactful. So we're headed into this hybrid world. And I think it's great.
And the Cat Fancier Association's figuring out the same thing. We've had our annual meeting virtual for the last 2 years, and we're going to try it in person this year in June. But it's also going to have some virtual, content also for those people that can't be there in person or don't want to take the risk of being there in person. So I think you're right. It's something that we're all learning and discovering and expanding, which is good. It involves more people that way.
Yeah.
So for the folks that are tuning in that may be self-employed entrepreneurs, or working at a company like maybe an accounting company for many, many years, and they realizing they want to follow their passion. You two are some gutsy broads. And I say that in good ways. So what's one or two things each of you could share to people, advice, if you will, in the pet industry on how to follow your dreams, but how to follow your dreams smartly? Because you got to pay for the lights to turn on and your Netflix subscription. Jessica, what would be something you'd tell people?
Oh, that's such a good question, and there's so many ideas in my head right now. I think the biggest thing is that often when you get business advice, you hear the need to be financially stable, make a plan, do all of these things, and there's value there for sure. But at the same time, you don't want to use that to never act. Oh. And I think that is one of the things that with the pandemic that actually forced Chloe and I to act probably sooner than we would have otherwise. Okay. We took advantage of that, gap, and we still covered our bases. We made sure that we were protected. We did research on the business that we were pursuing to make sure, one, that we weren't going to get in trouble and steal, infringe on anybody else's ideas or branding, and two, that there was a gap in the industry. And I face this in my personal life all the time, is sometimes when I put so many restrictions around myself, I feel frozen. Okay. And so I think that, balance that, make sure that you're safe and secure, but assess your own risk level. And it's okay to make a mistake, to not get it perfectly the first time or the first year, and keep adapting and learning, because that's how you're really going to grow and succeed.
Hey, being without a W-2 net isn't all that bad. I've been doing that for 22 years now.
Yeah, I mean, it can be startling at first, for sure, because it's different, right? But
one of the best advice I got when I pivoted from the W-2 world, I was a reporter and I worked at a publishing house. Best advice I got was from a mentor who said, the company or the person that's giving you the most money for work this year may not even pay you a dime the next year. And if you can stomach the fact that there may be new opportunities and lost opportunities, and you can't just count on the same person or the same company, you can make it. So you gotta realize, don't put all your hopes that you have company A, because next year they may not be in existence, or they may be in a different direction, but you have company B and company C that want your knowledge. Does that
people get laid off every day?
That's right.
It happens.
So what about you, Flo? What advice would you give?
Kind of building on what both of you just said, Jessica and Arden, is to not let the fear of failing stop you. And I feel like fear of failure is a huge thing that prevents people from moving forward, when really it is just as important to understand what you need to do as much as it is to understand what you shouldn't be doing. But the only way to know that is to try.
Yeah.
And I think people get in their heads sometimes and they're like, well, it's not ready yet, or I can't quite do it yet, or I can't do this yet, or, you know, I don't want to do this wrong.
Mhm.
And I would encourage everybody, like Jessica said, do the research, make sure you have a foundation and understand what you're trying to do, but don't not make decisions because you're afraid it's not the right decision. Because they're in the beginning, when you're starting a business, and even throughout, like even right now when we go through things, it's not about making a right or wrong decision. It's about trying something to decide if it's right or wrong. And you don't know unless you try. So I just want to encourage everybody to try, you know, maybe it's a side hustle for a bit, and that's fine. A lot of businesses grow out of side hustles.
Hey, we're speaking with Jessica Shipman and Chloe DiVita. Together, they're the duo, the dynamic one, better than Batman and Robin, with allpetvoices.com. I want you to check out cuddly.com. They've got a great Instagram, Facebook, all the social medias. They're going to stick around. But right now, our friend, all breed CFA judge, Kathy Black, with the help of doggy designee Destiny, who's smaller than most cats, is going to talk about a pretty cool breed while I get ready to be a bartender. And that one is the Bengal. Take it away, Kathy.
Okay, so if you guys have been following us the last few weeks, CFA started a campaign, probably close to a month ago now, where each week they are featuring one of our pedigree breeds. We have 45 breeds. So they started alphabetically, and we decided to match our breed profile up with the one that's being highlighted this week on all of CFA's social media platforms. And this week is the Bengal Cat. And the Bengal Cat is a beautiful cat. It was kind of an interesting history how it came to be. In 1963, there was a researcher named Jean Mill, and she was trying to create a genetic predisposition, I guess you could say, in cats where they would not get feline leukemia. And so she crossed the domestic cat with the Asian leopard cat, and trying to see if she could end up getting that immunity to pass on to the cats. And it created the Bengal breed. That was how the Bengal breed started. And so it looks like a leopard or an ocelot or a jaguar. And CFA was very late in coming to the table to let this breed be one of our accepted breeds, because we've always taken the stance that we didn't want any hybrid crosses. But the breed was been around for many years, and we finally accepted them in CFA, but we require that they are at least 5 generations removed from the Asian leopard cat. And all of the Bengals have to have a registration number to be shown, even the kittens, which is unusual because we don't require other kittens. But we want to make sure that they truly are 5 generations removed from the Asian leopard cat. And they come in several patterns. They come in what's called rosetted spotted tabby. There's marble, charcoal, snow, melanistic, and the long-haired variety is called cashmere. And so they are just striking animals, full of musculature, cool patterns. I mean, I love these rosetted patterns where you have the circles with the dark line around it. You even have sometimes spotting. The tabby pattern is broken up where it's even spotted on the legs. This is a brown rosetted spotted. I think they're the most dramatic, looking like they just came right out of the jungle. But they come in the charcoal pattern. They come in the silver and the lynx and the smokes, and I mean they just come in all kinds of cool patterns. So there's something out there for everybody. The pattern has said that it should be flowing like water. So these spots should look more random and not all lined up in a row. Really looks kind of like a true marble pattern. Here's one of the snows I was talking about. They are just a really, really interesting breed. They are very athletic. So you do not want a Bengal if you want a cat that's going to sit around and just look at you all day. They're going to be very interactive, very playful, very energetic. They have what's called a nocturnal gaze. It's the way the nose is straight on both sides, makes those eyes set in a particular way that gives the cat what we call a nocturnal gaze. Beautiful colors, beautiful patterns, fantastic breed of cat. I'm so happy that these cats are now in our CFA shows. I've had the pleasure of handling many of them, and they are all so unique and so beautiful. And I'm so glad that this is one of our breeds that we recognize. This is our Bengal breed.
What did you think? Good job, Kathy. Come on, let's give it up for her. What did you guys think of that cat? Isn't that an awesome cat?
Beautiful.
I want a snow Bengal.
All right, Steve.
I can fix you up. I know some breeders.
Well, we didn't do a llama breed takeout, but I think the Bengals are pretty good too. What do you think, Jessica?
Yeah, close second, I think.
Okay, close second. Okay. The other thing I really like about the CFA, because they recognize a lot of folks don't have purebreds, or they really champion all cats, and they have a household cat division. They work with a lot of shelters, Trap King Davis, Sterling Davis. They work with him, Mary Tan, Community Cat Podcast, Stacy LeBaron. I love that CFA is reaching out to all aspects to bring cats a better life. And that brings us to CCW.
CCW. So it's actually in our Constitution that CFA is for the welfare of all cats.
I like that.
And so we recognize the non-pedigreed cat as well as the pedigreed cat. And we created a program called Companion Cat World. And you see those cards that Arden is holding when you join your cat. And I love the way somebody put it. Every cat deserves a pedigree, a history, a legacy. And we don't always know that about our random bred cats. Well, they could be part of our CFA database, and they could be part of CFA too. So when you join for $13 and upload your cat's picture, you'll get a card with your cat's picture on it, your cat's name, and your information. You can get luggage tags or key rings, and your cat goes up in our gallery of cats, so you can see all the ones that have been registered on our CFA website, and 10% of your $13 goes to a local shelter. So you can check that all out at cfa.org/CCW. That stands for Companion Cat World, and everybody check that out.
All right.
And I've lost Lola's card. I don't know where Lola's card went, but I was trying to find it, and I've misplaced it.
Those mine's right here.
We'll look at Casey's instead.
The feline Ryan Reynolds. Okay.
Yes.
All right. You guys have actually seen Casey in action, haven't you?
Yeah.
What do you think of him? He's a shelter alum of the San Diego Humane Society. I don't call them rescues. I call them alums because I think shelters are doing a lot of great things. He is my first ginger cat. So now I have two, Rusty. And I got to tell you, he's one of the hardest working safety cats, I'm going to say arguably in the world. He has been to 13 states by car and by plane. He helps teach pet first aid, pet behavior. He's never met a stranger or a strange place. And he's teaching his kid brother, Rusty the performer, the ropes. And that brings us to my passion, which is shared with you all that you've done with your Pet Health 5. Guys, one of the best gifts you can give your dog or cat is to know what to do when uh-oh happens. And you need to get them stabilized, render aid on the scene, and then safely get them to the nearest veterinarian. I got to tell you, this has been a very busy last 2 months for me. Every single daycare, shelter, pet sitting group have reached out to me, and I'm consuming my weekends happily teaching dog and cat first aid in person and also via Zoom, live and interactive. So if you guys are interested, we have our next cat 3-hour class is going to be the night of February 24th, 5 to 8 p.m. Central Time. please go to Pet First Aid for You. You'll be able to see how to join. We have a class for cats and dogs via Zoom on March 13th. And as you've been doing, call me, email me when you have a group together that you would like me to customize a class. That's my passion. I know I'm a goofball with the bad puns, but I got to tell you, saving lives is kind of my gig, guys. So now I'm going to become a bartender.
Right? You're just wearing all the hats.
I know. What's my last name? Come on. I wear a lot of collars happily in the pet world. And I've gotten to the point in my life, I am the happiest I've ever been. And I think it's because I am following my passion. And as we're seeing with Chloe and with Jessica, they're following their passions. They're not like spitty llamas. Jessica's gonna go, wait a minute. But you know what I'm talking about. You guys, you can feel your energy. You can feel your passion. You can feel your can-do-ness. And that's what life's all about. So tonight, we're gonna go to the wine, folks. I'm calling this the Persian perfect wine drink, because you know it's time to raise a glass and toast your love for wine as well as for cats, and do it in a new level. So humbly, I'm terrible at this, but we're gonna give it a shot.
Thank you, Teresa Kiger.
Thank you. Sorry, yeah, that's why I love you, Teresa Kiger, editor of Cat Talk, all breed CFA judge, each and every week does these graphics. Doesn't that look yummy, ladies?
Yeah.
Thank you, Teresa. So
now, let's see your glass.
Okay, before COVID, kind of like February 2020, when these two were forming All Pet Voices, I was at a place called the Pinot Palette and humbly trying to draw cat faces on a wine glass so that I could think I'm an artist. So for this drink, you really do need a robust wine glass, and you have it with ice. We've got some interesting ingredients here. The first thing I want you to do is put 1 ounce of brandy. That's going to warm your cockles. So we're going to put that in there. And there's no whipped cream, so my cats aren't going to come to the camera. The second thing.
Looks like they left.
Yeah. Oh, Casey's right here. He's like, I don't smell anything but lemon and brandy. No. Okay, this sounds crazy, but I want you to put 1 ounce of pomegranate juice. What do you guys think?
Good.
All right.
Okay.
All
You
right.
got the brandy, the pomegranate. Now, less is more. Agostino bitters, you really don't want to keep pouring in. You just want 1 drop and another drop. I'm telling you, it's very, very potent. And finally, you want to do 3 ounces of your favorite wine. I have one that's Twist Top Vintage. Okay, here we go. I'm doing Pinot Grigio. Ooh, rusty. All right.
3 ounces, 6 ounces. Who's counting?
Yeah. And I realized I forgot my club soda. So imagination time. A splash of club soda. And then you want to stir it all together. And then adorn it with a little bit of lime around the rim. Drop 1 in there. And at this time, let us please raise a glass of wine, of tea,
I'm jealous.
of soda, whatever your heart desires. And let us please toast to all cats who make us better humans. Cheers, kitties.
Cheers. That sounds interesting, Arden.
I know.
How is
love
it?
this. It's very good because it's got that warm hug from the brandy, and it's not too sweet, but the pomegranate gives a little bit of a nice fruit flavor that's different. And then you got the wine, and then of course the lemon is making a little bit of a tart that you need. So this is what I do for fun. Hey guys, we so appreciate all of you being here on the Meowy Hour show. We just tell your friends, our friends, we want to give a big thank you for joining us today. Jessica Shipman and Chloe DiVita, they are the brains behind allpetvoices.com. They've got cuddly.com as being powered by them. I think that's the right verb they used. I love you, Kathy Black. You are an awesome person. You're an all breed judge. I love you, Destiny. Destiny. Destiny's like, I've been to her house. She really does like me. We want to thank the Cat Fancier Association and, of course, our sponsors, Meowy Wana and Kitty Raid. And you guys got a homework assignment. Send Kathy questions about cat behavior, because backed by popular demand and answering those questions are going to be Rita Reimers and Linda Hall of the Cat Behavior Alliance. So they're going to be looking for some questions.
My email is listed. Send me your cat behavior questions so we can get those to them before next week's show.
So I also want to thank my ginger boys, Casey and Rusty. They put up with me. And until next time, it's same cat channel, same cat time. We're going to see you on Meowy Hour. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.